That's how they take the jurisdiction. So if there was guns made in the state that you live in, they would have absolutely no jurisdiction whatsoever if you were a citizen of the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America. In other words, a citizen of your state. The citizenship is still alive, and it does exist because Native Americans born on sovereign land, they have a right to go back and forth between the two citizenships. They make a choice at will. When they're called a sovereign American, that has nothing to do with their racial heritage. It has to do with they were a citizen of Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution. They're a sovereign American because they're a constitutional citizen. Please don't mistake the two. And then they can go back and be the citizen we are, and they got to pay income tax and so forth again. So when you complain that these people are not being, that is unfair, that they don't have to pay their fair share of income tax because they're born on Native American soil, well, guess what? All they are is they're the citizen our founding fathers wanted us to be. That's all they are. Don't complain about it. Become just like them. Learn about it. Because the night before the 14th Amendment went into effect, even though it was completely illegal and unconstitutional, an act of high treason, done at gunpoint, 11 states was deprived the right to vote. 2 Union, and you see that was Ohio and New Jersey, and 9 Confederate, ex-Confederate states, just because they were against it. I mean, it's insane. Read the congressional record we put up. It's insane to see how your constitutional rights was stolen from you by these bankers that got up in our system. And then once they got 51% of the people a part of this system, they were right there with that Federal Reserve Act to step in. They engineered the first depression and the crash of the economy. They caused our government to declare bankruptcy. That's how come they got our gold in New York City under their building. And it's supposed to belong to us. They've stolen all of that from us. The national debt, all of it is based on an amendment that was never ratified. It's a hoax. There's a way of making us in debt for every dollar we put in circulation. There's a debt attached to it. They're charging us money for printing money off our interest off printing money off our own net worth. And the citizenship of the 14th Amendment, you ever hear them say you owe $35,000 or whatever the heck to the national debt? Well, guess what? It's all printed off your homes and everything you're worth under that citizenship of that amendment that was never ratified. Why do you think the foreigners eating up that debt so bad? Because they want to own us. Even if your house is paid for, you still owe that money because of your citizenship. Think about it. These people, they really deceived us. We need to wake up. We really, really do. You can't say, I've heard these arguments, people say that, well, they may not allow us to go back to the citizenship. What do you mean they won't allow us? The only thing that gives the citizenship of the United States any presumptive validity whatsoever is the fact that it's a political choice. That's it. Because you have a right to choose back and forth, as you've seen on the document. You can leave this jurisdiction at will. So therefore, it's a political choice. Yes, as a truly free people, you can give your rights away. They can't force you to give them away, but you can give them away as a truly free people. That's why the Supreme Court, they said it's political. I mean, read the congressional record. Yes, if the American people ever rebelled against it, the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause, Article 6, Section 2, must strike it with nullity. It is a political choice. The only thing is, they don't tell you about the choice. They keep it a secret from you. Now these banks, these dirty bankers, they got all into our system. They collect interest every week on your off our national debt. They had to come up with an IRS branch, which is illegal and unconstitutional. And you have these questions about the 16th Amendment being ratified, and I don't believe it was, but that doesn't even matter. It don't even matter. All that comes from the jurisdiction of an amendment that was never ratified. Why argue like a dog chasing its tail if it wasn't ratified? The 16th wasn't ratified. Even if the 14th was ratified, it's still unconstitutional. Throw the whole thing out. Get it out of your face. Go back to living as a truly free people again. Don't let them people die in vain in 1776 that fought for this. It is really worth fighting for again if we have to. It is insane what they've done to what is supposed to be a truly free people. Do you feel truly free? Was it not Benjamin Franklin that said when the people fear when the government fears the people, you have liberty. When the people fear the government, you have tyranny? People are too afraid to even speak out or do anything anymore or stand up what is supposed to be theirs. Well, liberty's only there for men who choose to fight for it. If you don't want to stand up for it, I guess you don't deserve it then. Maybe you should take the time to read these documents I put up here and decide what you want to do. This is our country. Why what's left of it, why we still got a chance to say something about it or do something about it, it is still our country. It's time we need to wake up. I mean, what does Stalin say? If you give me one generation and I'll change the world, well, guess what? They've had since 1868. That's a long time. They've had 140 years. They've had a lot of generations to deceive us. I mean, think about it. That's why I'm putting up the facts as I talk, because it's basically non-synonymous of everything you grew up as learning, as our function of government, our system is. You have to relearn. Well, I mean, we're that deceived. I was too. It blew my mind when I got to studying all this. This is why I didn't go to law school. How could I be a part of a system that ain't real? I mean, in 1967, when they learned the 14th Amendment was never legally ratified, the congressional record even says so, our colleges that teach our attorneys, our future attorneys, they didn't stop teaching them that the 14th Amendment wasn't legally ratified. No, they kept on teaching them that it was ratified. They're schooled to practice law within this 14th Amendment corporate body politic as if it was legally ratified. And 90% of the statutes that they call laws that they shove down our throat come from this jurisdiction of this amendment. They make their living off this. They have no, I mean, they were bloated. They're not even schooled that it was not even ratified. They would have to read this congressional record and learn for themselves, and then they'd have to relearn. Remember, Article 3, Section 2, Clause 1 is where the court's jurisdiction would be if you're a citizen of the state. That is in law and equity. You're in equity at law because the corporation's a person within the 14th Amendment. You're under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, legislative, territorial, tribunal, admiralty, maritime jurisdiction, basically. You're not even under the form of government you're supposed to be under, but you complain about your rights being violated. Well, here's how they're being violated. You would have to be living the citizenship you're supposed to have, according to the Constitution. Then you would have a complaint if your rights were being violated. If you're not even a citizen of that document, what have you got to complain about? Well, that's basically all I got to say, but I hope you enjoy this and give us our feedback. Thank you very much.